Hey everyone, welcome to Canyon Ultimate video number 2. If you missed the first video when I unboxed the bike, talked about how to assemble and then a couple of the issues I was having and some ordering process, customer service, all that kind of stuff, you can find that link in the description. One of the things I mentioned in the first video was I was having a little bit of an issue with the seat post creaking, and I had re-greased the saddle rails, I re-greased the seat post with the carbon paste, and really after the first 4 rides it was still creaking. I had reduced it a little bit on ride number 4, but by the end it was creaking again, and it was clearly just the post and not the seat. So initially my thought process was maybe because I ordered a medium and my saddle height or seat post height is actually on the lower end of the realm for a medium frame, that maybe the post wasn't able to flex enough because of the saddle height. And I had done some testing where I had moved it up about 1 inch and then 2 inches and then really kind of torqued on it and didn't make any noise at all. However, in those positions I wasn't able actually to ride it because my legs are too short to ride that high. So I was almost at a loss. I was kind of thinking, well, maybe I'm gonna have to return this and maybe try the small, despite all the other, issues that might bring up going with the small. And I'm not going to get into that in this video, but anyway, so what I did was I actually ended up ordering a tube of carbon paste, and I pulled the seat post. I wiped down the best that I could inside the seat tube. I wiped off the seat post, and then I re-greased it real liberally. And inside here, the way Canyon does it is there's a bolt back here, and it basically felt like there were maybe 4, I'm guessing they're plastic, I'm not sure what they are, but kind of fins that are against the inside of the seat post that probably squeeze the post when you tighten the bolt down. So I greased real liberally inside here, and again, like I said, on the post. And the last 2 rides I've had 0 noise. So that must have been what the issue was, which is great because that was really the only thing holding me back from keeping this bike. At this point, I have everything dialed in as far as my reach and my saddle fore aft. So really the bike fits me fine. A small would clearly fit me as well, and I would probably have about 1 inch more of seat post showing. But it kind of brings up another issue, and that is, we talked about it in the last video, is they sell their small with a 90 stem length approximate and a 39 wide bar, whereas the bar I ride now is actually a 44. This one's they call a 42. So either way, I'll be adjusting one way or the other, and it's just the way it is when you're ordering from Canyon. They basically set the parameters of how they sell things, and then you can exchange parts by purchasing them and then selling them yourself, which is not a problem. I get it. It makes things easier, and for the most part, it probably fits most people, or at least real close. One of the issues of not having just a stem and a bar is that you're limited to what they sell. So it's basically 90, 100, 110. Some stems now you can get 5 mil increments. So can't do that here, but that's okay. This one does fit me. I'm very pleased with the ride quality of the bike. It's outstanding. And in between riding this, trying to figure out the seat creak, I rode my Cannondale again for a couple days, and it is definitely a better ride than the Cannondale. Is it night and day better? I don't think it is, but it is pretty fantastic, especially the way the power goes through the bike and to the ground. It doesn't feel like anything is wasted at all. And I'm getting used to that real stiff front end at this point. I actually am starting to like it a lot. I still do plan to get that trimmed. I'm going to turn the wheels come tubeless ready, so I'm going to convert those to tubeless, which I've never ridden before, but that is something I'm looking forward to. I did get a flat the other day on the rear, and for those of you who are familiar, some wheels are super tight and some tire wheel combinations are a real pain in the butt to not only get the tube out, but get the new one in. And it was a struggle getting this tire off the bead to get the new tube in, but I did manage to get that straightened out on the road. A couple of the things I wanted to mention as far as how the bike came and how the build, how it was put together and all that kind of stuff. everything was excellent. The only one issue that I've had, and it's a very small issue, is the right and left shifters were not square. The left one's actually kind of out and slightly rotated a little bit. It's not a big deal. It's just something I wanted to mention. An easy fix. I haven't fixed it yet, but other than that, everything else has been great. I haven't had any complaints. The bottom bracket seems really nice and secure. Everything else has been good. One thing I want to mention also with this specific saddle, the Selle Italia that comes with the Ultimate 9.0, is the torque value on the seat bolts back here, I think, are 5 nanometers. And I used their torque wrench that came with the box, and I torqued them to 5. And I had movement on 3 out of 4 rides set to their values. And I remember when I was adjusting this saddle for the first time straight out of the box, that it was, one of the bolts up here was cranked tight. So always follow the manufacturer's recommendations. I'm not telling you to crank over 5 nanometers, but I have been, because otherwise the saddle moves, whether it tilts up on you or tends to slide back. I had that happen to me on multiple rides. So at this point, I'm going to put a little more carbon paste on here. Maybe that'll keep it from moving around, but I've got these snugged pretty good. You know, again, I'm not asking you to do that or telling you to do it, but I have had to do that on this particular saddle. This guy back here, you can actually get away with a little bit less than 5 if you want to. You don't have to put it on 5. It holds really well with the carbon paste on there. So I guess that's kind of it for the update. I wanted to let you know about the seat post. No more creaking. It's doing good. Being 5'9" with basically 31.5 or about 175.2 something inseam, the medium actually does fit me, and it's actually comfortable. I think if you're like me and maybe your legs are just a little bit shorter than your torso length, this will work for you. Clearly, you could order the 90 39 bar if you wanted to get this bike. I mentioned it and went over a lot of the reasons why I chose the medium over the small in the other video, but essentially I just didn't want to run a huge amount of spacers going with that smaller head tube on the small. So anyway, hopefully that helps. If you have any more questions about the Canyon, shoot me an email or leave it below. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll have some more updates down the road. Cheers.